So cold outbound is absolutely cooked. There's been some recent market things that have happened that is officially making the days of just running an outbound system, tracking your metrics, optimizing the system, and then praying to God that it works, get you the appointments, close the appointments, and then bang, you're making 10K a month. Those days are gone, unfortunately. And why did that happen? And how do we fix it, right? So I want to come on here and spit some recent things based off the data that we've been seeing so that hopefully you can fix your outbound systems and make a ton of money with it. So if you don't know me already, my name is Jesse Beltran, and I went from 0 to 20K a month when I was 18 and got to my first 30K a week when I was 6 months later after 18. So 18 and 6 months. And I haven't been on here for a while, so I want to hop on and just give some free sauce on like what are the changes that we're going to be making as well because of this big shift. What the heck was this shift and what you can do about it, right? So, the big shift, AI. I know like everybody's talking about how AI is changing everything, but everybody is able to automate things now. Everybody is able to do market research pretty okay. Everybody's able to run these magical systems, right? And there's so many SaaSes that are popping up that are allowing you to automate outreach. So what that has done is just flooded everybody's inbox, everybody's metrics. You'll notice on every single outbound channel, whether it's cold email, SMS, literally everything, DMs especially, all the metrics are getting cooked, right? And it's coming to a point where you have to make a pivot, and that is what we are doing as well. So, if you are relying on cold outbound, the big thing that you're going to have to make, and I know a lot of people are not going to like this, but you have to do organic. Organic is becoming a prerequisite to being able to do any sort of outbound, right? Because what's happening is two people are reaching out to somebody, right? And since people get so much outreach, the first thing that they're going to do is click on who's sending it to them, right? Whether it's an email, they're looking at the website, whether it's social media, DM, they're looking at the profile. If you reach out, because the quality of outreach really doesn't change anymore, especially because of outreach or because of automation, if you reach out and somebody else reaches out, but somebody else has 6K on Instagram, a whole bunch of organic content, they're showing their lifestyle, and you are just a random profile or random LinkedIn profile, you have no social credit, you're not going to get that appointment. Like, regardless of how good your system is, regardless of all of that, you're just not going to book the appointment anymore. And if you do book an appointment, and this is a really crappy part, like people are like, oh, I'm booking a ton of appointments. It's look at the cash collected on that call. I guarantee you it's either zero or it's really, really freaking low because you're going to get a whole bunch of bottom of the barrel people that are literally afraid to book with people that look like they have authority and they're just afraid of the price, right? So it's like, it's to the point where you're going to attract people that like can't afford anything. So that is the big change, and that is why everybody has to pivot now. And another thing with this too, and it's why like there is some exception. There's one exception when it comes to the outbound working or not working for somebody, and this is going to be the first thing that I'm going to recommend on an option for pivoting and reacting to the market, right? So first of all, I want to give a quick overview of like why this is happening to systems and outbound systems. So systems are simply inputs, processes, outputs, and then feedback loops in the form of metrics, right? And then the process is simply what outbound system are you running in this case at a macro level, right? We can really get it really into it. But what people forget about with systems is they forget about the environment variable. Now, the environment is where this entire system really lives in. Now, that is what's changing. So what we have to do now is start to alter the system. Now, the systems that we've been seeing working, and we've tested this, and what's been working for us as well, and we've tested this with profiles that don't have any organic presence, is having novelty in your offer. That is absolutely killing right now. The reason that it's killing is because it's so freaking hard to do. I'll give you an example of what novelty. So first of all, novelty is just something that's different. It's something that hasn't been seen into the market yet. And in the older days, right? Like we can look at somebody like Brett Scales. He created novelty by calling his SMMA like freelance brand scaling, right? It's just social media marketing agencies. That's all he does. But he called it freelance brand scaling. It seems different, so people are like, oh my gosh, I have to get in on this, right? I don't want to miss out. Well, you can't just do that anymore. You can't just come up with the roofers scaled like magical system. Like you can't just repackage what you do anymore, right? It has to have some sort of like genuine system behind it. So the first option that you have without organic, and I would honestly now I'm into the position where it's like you have to have organic, but if you want to skip that part, what you can do is simply change the way that you frame your offer, but it has to be backed by delivery. So, what do I mean by this? So, I'll give you an example with us, right? So, we have a Loom email system we created, like it took us a year to build the software to do it. We're the only people in the world that can automate personalized Loom emails at scale. Now, what happens with that is that nobody else is marketing that, right? And we have, and don't, if you want to get in on this, don't try because we're not giving it to people anymore because how well it's working. But we have a licensee program that's shut off now. And the people that got into that licensee program early, they are marketing saying they have this Loom email system. They are running cold outbound systems, whether it's SMS, DMs, whatever it is. It is working simply because they say they have a unique software and that they say it's a automated Loom personalized outreach system. Just because they're saying that, people are ripping. And it's not only just on the outbound systems. I did some investigation into other people's YouTube channels, like people that are in the B2B space, right? And these guys that made YouTube videos, all their videos completely flopped except for the Loom. They claimed to have a automated Loom personalized outreach system, right? And if you actually look into it, it's still manual. So it wasn't really true, but all of their best performing videos talked about this personalized Loom outreach system. So it's like you ask yourself, why are these videos performing so much better? Why is this outreach working so much better? It's literally just because it has novelty. That is literally it. We are running lead magnets right now with our Loom email system talking about it, and it is absolutely ripping without any organic. Well, on my profile, obviously we have organic, but on all the setters that don't have the organic, it is absolutely killing. So how do you use this for yourself? So this is where like the beauty of an offer comes in, like where people don't really understand what an offer is. So you have your offer and you have what you do, right? Where so many people miss out is how can I take like because the principle, right? There's a principle when creating an offer is that your offer should make you uncomfortable. It should force you to perform better. And the people that are attacking this are absolutely killing right now. What you're going to do is you're going to look at your current abilities. You're going to say, okay, but what if I can learn this part and let me mute that and also attach it to what my current offer is. Now, what this does is, let's say I'm running ads, right? But let's say I'm also really good at creating AI systems. Now, if I can run ads and also have this AI system on it, well, that allows me a completely new opportunity for packaging, right? So now I can say AI integrated optimized ads. The reason this pops up to my mind is because I recently just had a client that signed a client. It's the client that he signed is doing about 1.3 million a year. And the reason that this guy reached out to my client, because this client is kind of newer to business. He's 17 years old, crazy, right? And and the reason that it worked for him is because this guy told him, he's like, I saw that you're using AI to optimize your ads, so I was really curious about reaching out. He's like, I've turned down a whole bunch of agencies already. I'm really just looking into why you're so unique. That is the key right now. If you don't want to do organic, you have to create novelty. And the cool thing with this is as soon as you combine something with it, now you're able to charge more because it's seen as novel, it's seen as unique, and people have no idea what the price is going to be. So you can charge something higher, even if it's a very similar thing. So if you want to kind of like fix your outbound, right? Because I know we're in a trust recession and everybody's freaking out. Look into what you do. Look into a possible skill to learn or a skill that you have that you're just not using and combine it with what you already do. It's going to improve service delivery. It's going to get better results, which means more testimonials, which means you can reuse that for organic and marketing and also your outreach. And it also means you can create packaging that nobody else has. Because there's literally an infinite amount of skills that you can combine with each other, which means there's an infinite amount of ways to package your offer. And that means that nobody else has packaged the offer in that exact same way. Now, you can see even people like Charlie Morgan, like big people, they are really starting to realize this, but I honestly think that they're not being creative enough with it. For example, with Charlie Morgan, they're really just taking advantage of their pure size, right? And that's the main thing, and their experience. So what they're saying now is like, we're going to install a growth op into your business. All that is that we're hiring a CSM, which is a client success manager. We're using CSMs now. That's all it is. But they're framing it as a growth op to put into the business, and now their offer is ripping, right? Same thing with this other guy. He's also pretty big in the agency scaling space, and what he's saying now is that we will literally set the calls for you, close for you, and then hand everything off to you. So instead of adding on a different skill, they just took on more responsibility and changed the model, right? Both are completely valid. I just personally think that, a little bit more novelty is going to work more long term. And yeah, this is something you completely leverage. And the cool thing here, like with for us, for example, since we're very heavy on the software company side, is pretty much any tool that we create is the first tool in the world of its kind, right? Because of all the methodology that we have to combine with our amazing people that do software. So we can use each of these like framings, right? This packaging with the methodology and software, and it has complete novelty, and we can just run a new like framing of the offer and probably do really well with lead magnets and outbound, right? So that's the first option to being able to kind of get out of this trust recession as far as doing outbound. Now the second option is, like I said, doing organic. The what pops into mind, I just had a guy that I spoke to. He was like, dude, it's been 4 months and I've booked 4 appointments, right? And he was like, out of those appointments, they were all terrible. And I'm like, yeah, shocker. It's like that's what outbound is now, right? Using proven systems, right? Like systems that cost 20K to get, they're proven systems, right? But it's just because of the market shifts that I've been talking about. Now, I all I did was tell him, like, dude, literally just post a little bit on LinkedIn about your yeah, about your expertise. Combine that with your outbound. You post a YouTube video, use it as a lead magnet, and just start seeing how it does. He shot me a DM. He's like, dude, that one advice completely changed everything. I'm booking a call a day now, right? That is the power of organic. That is the power of organic, and that's why it's like instead of just choosing one of the two, why not do both? Right? Why not add a skill, make your service delivery more valuable, package it uniquely, combine that with organic, spread the word like freaking crazy, combine that with outbound systems, and then see what happens. That is like what we're going to be going all in on, right? Like I hired somebody, amazing guy. His name is Elias Mueller, and he was in London at the time. He flew out. We spent a week filming for the next 3 months, right? So we are really going all in on this big change. So yeah, it's like, why not do both? And when it comes to organic, like a free, like I already told you how to like combine your skills, but then it's like, okay, what the heck do I do in organic? One of the easiest ways to like figure out what to post for organic, right? Number one, obviously look at where your target market aggregates, right? If you're targeting, I don't know, roofers, probably don't go to LinkedIn. They're not on LinkedIn. They're on Facebook, right? So now we need to know, okay, now we need to post on Facebook and probably YouTube. YouTube is a must for pretty much everybody. Everybody uses YouTube. And YouTube isn't really a lead generation. It's more of a nurturing system in the beginning. Long term, it can turn into lead gen. But anyways, what you want to do is identify those platforms, add YouTube, right? Then you're gonna break down the pain points, right? So you're gonna have your macro pain points. So for example, for people, if you're watching this video, right, main pain points, main issues that I see with people is number one, their offer, or number two, they can't book appointments, number three, they suck at sales, right? If they have all those three things, then they're usually making at least 30, 50K a month. Now, I can break those three pain points into sub pain points, right? So subcategories. So, okay, let's say look at the offer. Well, let's say offer framing, like what we're talking about right now, that could be a sub pain point. The appointment booking, okay, they don't know, it's not a system. They're not tracking metrics. They made it themselves. They're doing random outreach, whatever. And then on the sales thing, it's like, how do I close higher ticket clients, right? Like I'm terrified of charging more and I don't know how to do that, right? So those are all sub pain points. And then those sub pain points have more sub pain points. So you can literally make a list out of macro pain points, sub pain points, and then sub pain points. Those sub pain points are going to be your list of video ideas, right? You can use those video ideas for YouTube and short form. So that'd be the first thing. Now, and this is where like when I hear people say, I don't know what content to create, it's like, dude, it's so easy to have unlimited ideas. You're going to have all of those sub pain points, and then all of those sub pain points can be created in a way with unique framing. Now, what do I mean by that? So we have one issue here, right? Let's say the sub pain point is how to frame your offer like this, right? Well, there's multiple ways to create that. You can do a talking head video like how I'm doing right now. You can do a Myra video, right? Or you can do a live video. So let's say you have a coaching call with somebody or a coaching call with a client, right? Or you're walking through what they need to do. You can coach them on how to fix that issue. There you go. Now you have authority because you were just on a call with somebody, right? Or you can do it as a client success story. So take a testimonial and say, this is how we fix their offer positioning, right? There's like that one sub pain point you can frame in 4, 5, 6, 7 different ways just off of that. Now, if you take all of the sub pain points and then you take that number and put it to the exponential like 5, whatever, right? Well, that's a lot of freaking video ideas. You have an endless amount of content. So that's how you actually come up with the ideation. Cool thing on the back end on that also loops back into how to make these outbound systems better is every single bit of long form content that you use with that, you can use as lead magnets. So this is another big thing that we've been changing as far as our outreach. So You used to do follow-ups like just a quick message, right? Or you used to do follow-ups as like sending memes, for example. What we're doing now is we're repurposing this long form content and we're repurposing our lead magnets to use that as the follow-up. Be like, hey, I know we talked earlier about you having this issue. I thought this could help you. And I actually made a full video to break it down for you. You gave me the inspiration. Just wanted to shoot this over real quick. Right. I've had multiple calls and I asked people why they signed, and they're like, dude, that lead magnet that you sent me was actually extremely helpful. And I realized that I have no idea how to do this compared to you. So I wanted to work with you. Right. So the amount of the network effects that you get from posting on organic is absolutely insane. And having this as a lever that you can pull with your outbound systems is absolutely huge. And this is the big difference. You'll see so many people nowadays are running towards AI and like voice cloning and all this like face manipulation stuff. And it's like, yeah, that stuff can be good because it's just like a pattern interrupt sometimes if you've beat other people to it. But it's like, if you have organic and somebody doesn't, it's like you can't just sign up for a tool and then create these things, right? It's like you are really going to be the only person with this value that can use it as follow-ups, that can use it in your pre-call nurture sequences, that can do this in a way where people show up on the call and they've already consumed a lot of your content and a lot of your value already, right? And then also another network effect of this is going to be people are going to be where your close rates are obviously going to go up, your show rates are going to go way, way up, right? Especially if you do pre-call nurture sequences, right? And then also your cash collected rate is going to go up, and then your ticket size is going to go up, especially if you did the framing correctly. Like there are so many good networking effects that come from this, that this is why I'm saying the shift now is that it is no longer acceptable not to have some sort of online brand, some sort of online brand. And I know what you're thinking. You're probably like, okay, well, everybody has been saying this forever. But it's like in the past, before AI and automations like really flooded the market, really anybody could get to 30K a month with just cold outbound. Realistically, you probably could just grind your way to getting 20, 30K a month with cold outbound. We've had multiple clients do it. But it's also because we position their offer in a way that lets them charge such high ticket. So they get one client, they're at 30K a month, right? Or 50K or 100K a month, right? Like we just got another guy who's doing 7 figures off of one client a year. So it's really like it's possible, but for a lot of people that haven't invested into some sort of mentor, coach, whatever program that shows them how to position the offers, and most programs don't even show how to charge insanely high ticket because they completely skip service delivery. Uh, Most people aren't able to do that unless they've invested. So if you are in a position where like you haven't invested before or you don't know that information, well, your only choice is to do organic. You're gonna get absolutely cooked, like just spamming a whole bunch of outreach. This is a big thing with the changing last thing I'll touch on here, the way that setters teams works. Now, I was recently talking to a guy who's doing close to 6 figures a month with his agency, and he's not running ads or doing anything. What he's doing is he's essentially partnering with brands. So he'll find a guy that's like targeting some sort of like targeting his niche, but the person's framed in their own way, and they have a good social media following. See, he caught on this change pretty early. What he does is instead of looking for setters that are in another country to pay $50 for appointment, he will partner with these guys with brands. And then he will say, okay, let's turn your entire brand towards lead gen for my company. We're not going to put our logo on your profile at all. We're simply going to use your social media presence and just the same offer in the content, and then combine that with outreach. And that he's booking a ton of appointments, and he does like low ticket monthly retainers, like 2, 3K a month, right? So obviously he gets a lot of calls and needs a lot of calls to be able to scale. So that's another way that setters teams are changing. It's the same thing we're doing with our setters team. So now when I'm looking for a setter, I'm not looking for somebody who's like in another country that's able to just like do a million cold calls or a million DMs every day. I'm looking for somebody who can show up really good on a camera, who could actually like benefit from having a personal brand long term, and positioning this position in the company as something that will benefit them long term and create their own company eventually themselves. Because a lot of setters, they want to do that anyway. They just want experience, right? So it's a really good way of future pacing and creating a culture around your company as well. But anyways, that's a big change to setters. Big change to setters. Obviously, you can have a setter working in on your profile. That's completely different. But for external setters, when you hit that month or that daily limit or that weekly limit of your outreach, then that's the other side of it too. Not including inbound DMs, of course. But yeah, those are the big changes recently that we've been seeing. That's why we were pivoting. If I gave you any value, maybe subscribe. maybe. If I did gave you no value, you think I just wasted all of your time, definitely don't subscribe. But yeah, hope this helped. And I'm back. I'm gonna be posting a whole bunch of sauce. Like I said, I'm going all in on content. So I'm just gonna be giving away everything that I know for completely free. That's all I have for you, and I hope you have a wonderful day.